All right, Kenny, let's go around the league so I can talk about one segment today outside of our local teams. Just give me one segment of oxygen. All right, Kenny, let's hit it. What do you got?
So the news of the day today is that J.J. Watt indicates he might just be retiring.
Good. Leave.
Good for him, by the way, too, because I don't know how many people are going to be able to hold up with this current concussion protocol. We're going to get to Tua later on in this blitz, but I'm just happy the guy got out alive. Nice career. I don't know. I wanted your thoughts on that.
Listen. All right, this is both ends of the spectrum. As a player, at his peak, he's one of the 5 best defensive players I've ever watched in my life. People forget. Go back to his 2014 season. 20 sacks. Damn near won the MVP. He was an absolute game wrecker. He was a different version of Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald is the best defensive player I've ever seen in my life. The problem is him as a human. He might be the fakest, most prepackaged. He was Russ before Russ. So he's entirely unlikable. That's the problem. But Hall of Fame career, and I just, people forget how dominant he was 7-8 years ago.
I'm glad he said that. There is 2 sides of that guy, but you're right. He is entirely fake as a human being.
I just couldn't take it.
The Chargers last night clinched the playoff berth. First time they've done that since 2018. Justin Herbert, first one. Coach Brandon Staley called this just the beginning.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of this team, I mean, how far do they get? I mean, they got the Bills and the Chiefs that they'd have to contend with eventually, but what's the ceiling there?
No, again, the ceiling is when you have a quarterback like Herbert, it's a Super Bowl. The problem, Staley does some unbelievably dumb stuff in the name of analytics. But defensively, what? I feel like the Chargers have not been able to stop the run in as long as I can remember. So their ceiling will always exist until or unless they fix the interior of their defense. Herbert can win a Super Bowl. But look, you want to talk about a step forward? If they didn't make the playoffs, I think Staley's fired. And that's a Sean Payton destination.
Watching this one, I think you're going to like. Watching Tua get hit again, putting in concussion protocol for a guy like that. Multiple times he's played this year with undiagnosed concussions on the field.
Why would I like that?
Because it's frustrating. I want you to sound off on the NFL.
I'm livid.
I like that you do.
I'm like, wait, what?
But he shouldn't play for the rest of the year, I guess my question. No shot should he play the rest of the year, right?
All right, so obviously goes without saying we are not doctors. Here's my frustration with this. The Dolphins already got away with one. Oh, it's a neck injury. Or it was a shoulder. Whatever happened the first go-around when we all saw him clearly get concussed and wobble to the line of scrimmage. Okay. They're claiming he's been in protocol twice. I view it like now it's 3 times. But here's the more frustrating part. You can timestamp the moment, the play, and the hit that had happened. He got ragdolled again, slammed to the turf, and the back of his head bounces like a tennis ball off the turf. That's the moment. And he stays in the game and throws 3 interceptions. I cannot, as a human being, not a doctor, but as a human being, I cannot sit there and act like those are not related. And now it's the same team, it's the same player, it's the same situation. And that's my long-form way of telling you that, yes, Kenny, I could not in good conscience put him out there based on we cannot treat brain injuries any less than, for instance, how the Commanders have treated Chase Young's freaking knee. They took their time. They were careful. They wanted to do what's right by the player because the player means so much to the organization. If Tua were to play again this year and get another concussion, I would argue his career's over. Kenny, I'm with you. I'm just so frustrated that they haven't taken better care of him.
And the posturing of the league pretending like they care about head injuries is nonsense.
They don't care. They don't want to get sued.
So the Jets named Mike White as their Week 17 starter. Zach Wilson jettisoned to the bench. So naturally, who do we hear from when Zach Wilson gets put on the bench?
Oh, his mommy.
His mommy comes out and is firing away, DMing people, saying it's not possible, quote, it's not possible for anyone to be successful here. Your fan base is toxic. Merry Christmas. Hey, shut up, right?
Okay, both things can be true, and she's welcome to do it in her private life. You defend your son. I understand it. It's got to be incredibly difficult for a family to watch a family member booed and likely need a police escort out of the stadium. However, we're talking football. Zach Wilson's completely unlikable. Zach Wilson alienated the locker room. Zach Wilson has had the lowest completion percentage in football back-to-back seasons. And Zach Wilson, in my world, is in the running for the single worst quarterback draft pick in history, with Ryan Leaf, Rick Meyer, and Jamarcus Russell's pink drink. Okay? Or purple drink, or whatever it is. You can't go on social media firing BB guns. Can't do it.
Also, sidebar on that, Mike White, actually, do they have a shot of finding the playoffs with him? I believe the team has his back.
They play for him. They play for him. And if he didn't, guys, you're not going to like what I'm about to say, but it doesn't matter. You're very fortunate you played Zach Wilson and not Mike White. Because Mike White would have beaten you. Because if Zach threw for 300 against you, White would have had 400. They play for that kid. They really do.
So Nathaniel Hackett given the axe, no surprise there.
Get out.
Also, other side of that, Russell Wilson, an absolute unmitigated train wreck this year.
Kenny.
So I guess my question is, who is that moron?
No, they're both morons.
Okay.
No, Kenny. Am I wrong to tell you that is one of the most embarrassing performances in the history of the National Football League? They gave up 51 points to a team that would have a hard time scoring at a brothel. The Rams, 51 points. It was 17-0. 2 minutes in, the pyrotechnics from the national anthem weren't even clear into the sky.
There was still fog in the air.
And, I mean, Russell Wilson. Right here, right now, I think we have witnessed in the same time frame the single worst quarterback trade in history, Russell Wilson, and the single worst quarterback draft pick, Zach Wilson. If you look at the money the Broncos owe Russell Wilson, you're a Bronco fan, do yourself a favor. Get a hobby that specifically takes up your Sundays for roughly the next 4 years.
And a last one here, because I like this fantasy football thing that's happening or potentially happening. Odd situation. The Titans and the Jags are going to play in Week 18.
The resting of players.
The resting of players in Championship Week 17. First of all, I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Never.
Second of all, does it affect you? Does it affect anybody?
No, my season's been over since late September.
Does it affect your playoff?
Dude, here was my year. I started out, I had Trey Lance as my starting quarterback. It's a keeper league. He died 10 minutes in. My season was over.
That's bizarre, though, right? I've
Kenny,
never seen that
it's a one-off. The idea that the game for each team doesn't matter this weekend because the division, due to 7,000 tiebreakers, will come down to Week 18. I've never seen it. May never see it again. I don't know that I agree with resting players. The Jags are in a rhythm. I don't know that I'd rest anybody.
You've seen the Titans do it a couple years ago with Derrick Henry. In 2019, I think he was on the bench going into the postseason.
One team has made it before with veterans. The other team is a daycare center. If I'm the Jags, I don't know that I'm messing with anything. We're going to go play.
And that is in football today.
Oh, tremendous.